I first saw Ryan in a video of Jenna and him and thought he was cute and his cow was adorable. I thought how wonderful it would be to have someone like him.
I remember first noticing Mallory when she commented on a video of Millie. She seemed to really like her, and who would have guessed that that would be the only animal that has had the hardest time accepting Mallory. When Mallory first reached out to me to help with getting our beloved cow Sophie back, I remember wondering why she seemed so eager to help. I now know that she cares very strongly about helping animals, but at the time, I was a little worried she was going to be crazy. She had made a whole chart of places to call and how to find everyone we could possibly contact. I was sure she had spent a lot of time and thought she might even be a bit of a stalker, but a cute stalker.
I was totally a stalker, but I also really wanted to help him get back Sophie. My intentions were completely pure, but I still thought he was cute.
We started talking more and more as we worked on getting Sophie back, and it was clear that we got along perfectly and shared so much in common. But I was so appreciative of her help, and I didn't want to seem creepy by not just focusing on our mission, so I try not to talk about personal things.
I totally wanted us to talk about our personal lives and get to know each other, but he seemed so unwilling. I figured he wasn't open to being real friends.
I was definitely starting to like her a lot. When we met in person, it would have been an understatement to say that sparks flew. It was more like a wildfire burning out of control.
Ryan told me that he thought I was so beautiful and that he loved my auburn hair. I was so excited that my stalking might have succeeded.
Her stalking had totally succeeded.
Neither of us believes in fate or meant to be, but it clearly was fate that we found each other, because clearly we were meant to be.
And what does a sane person do when they meet someone for the first time and feel like they're falling in love? They take things slow and they make sure it's real. So what did we do? We got Mallory ready to move and uproot her entire life, leaving her life in Arizona behind and starting a new one at Life with Pigs Sanctuary.
The day Ryan proposed to me, it was very fitting that Jenna was involved, since she was the reason I had found him in the first place.
Jenna knew her role and played it perfectly. She knocked me to one knee, right as if on cue.
And in the cow barn where Jenna grew up, Ryan asked me to marry him.
She said yes.
And we are going to have the most amazing life together.
We both knew it was our calling to help create a world where sentient, feeling beings are no longer treated as products to be used and discarded by humans. Here at Life with Pigs, we take in rescue farm animals that often come from situations where they are abused, neglected, or were headed for slaughter. Cows, pigs, chickens, turkeys, and sheep all love to be loved, want to be free from harm, and want to be with their families. They express love and they feel the very emotions that we associate with cats and dogs. And our goal is to show everyone just how much like the cats and dogs we love and keep in our homes each of these animals can be.
Having lived with farm animals, my view of food has changed drastically. Where before, I used to see food products when passing the meat section of a grocery store, I now see someone's mother, someone's daughter, someone's best friend. Pieces of their bodies wrapped in plastic and tossed into a freezer with a price tag. Someone's whole existence ended, to be eaten without thought and forgotten shortly after. I see milk cartons with pictures of happy cows on them, and know a baby was taken away from his mother and killed so that carton could be filled. Our pigs Pumpkin, her daughter Charlotte, and adopted daughter Millie snuggle up together every night in their bed. Their snouts wiggle as they dream, and they often sleep with bellies pressed together and noses touching. Each have very unique personalities. Pumpkin is a laid-back and tolerant mom. Charlotte is a boss pig and queen of the house, while Millie is just, well, Millie. She marches to her own drum.
Sadly, most pigs are not so lucky as these three. Instead of the possibility of 20 happy years, most pigs spend their 6 months alive in dark, dirty sheds and see sunlight for the first time as they head to slaughter. They moved from a small cage in a warehouse to an overcrowded truck with no water or room to move for a day or more at a time, until they are walked into their death. And that is only for the lucky ones that don't end up in trash cans because of disease or poor care.
Chickens are very intelligent and loving. They will cuddle up and fall asleep in your lap while smacking their beaks happily, and they love to sit and watch cartoons on your phone.
But on farms, our chicken family would have had it worst of all. Chickens like Devora, Talia, and Tallulah are all over 2 years old, but on a farm would have been slaughtered at 6 weeks. Many grow too fast because of human manipulations, and thus poor Devora is still a young chicken, yet already requires heart meds, arthritis meds, and can barely hobble around. And laying hens like Indy are plagued by nonstop egg laying, which is why more than a third of laying hens end up with cancer, and the same reason that all egg-laying hens on farms are killed between 1.5 and 2 years old, and replaced with new ones that won't require medical treatment. And there are no roosters on egg farms. Ever wonder what happens to them? On the second day of their life, these tiny baby chicks are separated by sex onto a conveyor belt. The females go on to lay more eggs, and the males go straight into a machine called a macerator, considered humane, which grinds them up alive. None of these babies will ever experience their mother's love and protection.
Turkeys like Quincy, Freddie, and Tia have it only slightly better than chickens. Quincy is very protective of his yard and follows every visitor closely. But he's really a big sweetheart. He's never pecked anyone in his life and enjoys being held and petted. He also likes going for walks and picking out his own treats when we go shopping. When you look into a turkey's eyes, you can see how intelligent and feeling they are.
Turkeys live a little bit longer than chickens on a farm, but still do not make it past 3 months before being slaughtered. Over 40 million turkeys are raised in horrific conditions only to be used to celebrate Thanksgiving each year. But how can we profess to be thankful while causing so much suffering?
Our cows, Jenna and Maisie, were both rescued from the dairy industry and quickly became the best of friends. They spend their days loving on each other, running through the yard, napping in their barn, or just looking for mischief to get into. One of their favorite activities is looking through windows until they find us inside the house. And of course, stopping by their favorite restaurant for a snack, the Carrot drive-through window, aka the kitchen window. These two will get to spend 20 plus years together being best friends and coming up with new games to play.
But Jenna and Maisie are one of the very few to escape this cruel industry. Jenna was going to be slaughtered at 3 days old along with the male calves on the dairy farm because she was infertile and unable to produce milk. Maisie was separated from her mother shortly after birth and would have replaced her in an endless cycle of impregnation and milk production until her milk dried up or she became a downer cow, a cow who was roughly 5 years old but has been used so heavily that she can no longer walk or support herself and must be dragged into slaughter. She would never have known any of her calves, even though she would have been pregnant for 9 months with each one and would cry for days when they were taken away.
And finally, our newest family members, the sheep, Bonnie and Piper. They were so shy at first, but have quickly become loving and friendly. Bonnie becomes so content while being scratched and loved on, and Piper stays close by her mom in the yard, but isn't afraid to give a little headbutt when one of the pigs tries to take her food.
Unfortunately, had they not been killed early for a leg of lamb, they would be used for a few years of wool production, where often workers are paid by the amount they shear and not by the time spent. This means they work as quickly as possible, and sheep are badly cut and injured by the end of the shearing process. And most are killed long before old age because the quality of their wool begins to decline. And it is this passion for animal justice that first brought us together. Our hope is not to force people to do anything. We truly believe that once people know the facts and realize the magnitude of the injustice, they will want to change. They will realize that we all have a choice at every meal. We can choose to let others suffer without any need, or we can choose kindness. Our greatest aspiration is that someday soon, we will all choose kindness.
And that is why all of the delicious food you will eat tonight contains no animal products. There are so many wonderful and healthy vegan options available to us, and if we can celebrate with a meal that doesn't harm anyone, why wouldn't we choose to?